I want to bring in General Hertling now, and if you have questions for him, please feel free to jump in because you're in the region. You can ask probably much better questions than I can. But General Hertling, I'll pose the first question. Are these airstrikes working in your mind?
I believe they are, Carol, and I think we have to look at the entire theater of operations and what's going on with the airstrikes. The strikes in Syria were always designed to go against strategic targets. I think they are doing that. There may be some adjustments right now to get effects against battlefield conditions, but that's tough when you don't have the callers, the spotters on the ground. In Iraq, all indicators are that there are some advances. Even though ISIS reportedly took over another Iraqi military base, that base may have been taken over because it was bypassed earlier on in an area where ISIS fighters had begun control. But there are also some indicators on the eastern side of Iraq that Peshmerga troops are taking back some cities. Zumar was mentioned. There was apparently another border crossing post, Rabia, northern Iraq on the border with Syria, that was regained last night by Kurdish forces. So I think the air power, the airstrikes, both the close air support of combat troops in Iraq and the strategic targeting of major elements in Syria are contributing much to this campaign.
Phil?
Yeah, General, a question really from the population here that was in northern Syria, the estimated 150,000 Syrian Kurdish people that have fled ahead of the ISIS advance. Many of the people that we speak to, they've been asking for the coalition to get involved in this fight for over a week now. They're grateful that that is now happening, but what they can't understand is why they're not seeing more of it, why it's waited until this point, why they're not seeing more of it. We know that the US is concerned about the intelligence on the ground and potential casualties as well, but they make the point that the territory behind me is almost empty of civilians. Everyone has fled. So could you explain perhaps to them, or give an explanation why you believe we're not seeing more airstrikes here on the ground?
Phil, it's a great question, and I won't be able to give them a satisfactory answer, but the real answer is it's because the air power can't be everywhere. And Kobane is a relatively small town, as you know. It's about a town of 40,000 Kurds, Assyrians, and Turkmen. It is a border crossing town, and it's in Syria. And remember, the president's plan, especially for the U.S. Air Forces, has been strategic targeting of ISIS. It isn't air support for Kurdish forces in Syria. It's targeting of key strategic targets of ISIS in Syria. We are doing support for Kurdish and Iraqi security forces in Iraq, but truthfully, it's just a matter of you can't be everywhere all the time. If things shifted to Kobane in terms of support, you could go to another town and someone would say, hey, we're not getting the support here either. So it's just a precision targeting of key areas for an overall campaign desire.
General Mark Hertling and Phil Black, thanks to both of you. I'll be right back.
Tomcat bait kills up to 12 mice.